Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks, and I've been waiting to make this video for a very long time, but LEGO Bionicle is officially back in 2023 as a free gift with purchase if you spend $100 on LEGO sets. So this video will just be covering how exactly are you going to be able to obtain this, what I would recommend in terms of sets that folks may like from the 2023 and 2022 assortment of currently available LEGO sets for Bionicle fans looking to get this, but maybe fans who haven't touched system in a while. And of course, at the very end, there will be a link to the review that I'll be publishing very soon, covering in depth in terms of what this model is all about. So let me start from the beginning. Back around last June, I believe, very blurry and sketchy images of this first appeared online, and there was a lot of speculation. Honestly, a lot of folks, including myself, thought that it was completely fake. And then some more reliable leakers said that we would in fact be getting a Tahu and Takua GWP. This was around, I believe, August or September. That's when this started to really materialize, and it isn't until now that this has been officially revealed. So what is a GWP? Well, a GWP is a gift with purchase. It is anything that you spend at the LEGO store for a certain amount of money, you will get this for free. So for instance, in the past, there have been GWPs for, say, stuff like LEGO ideas, like this car, for example. You spend a certain amount of money, I believe it was like $150 on LEGO, and you get this car for free. And that is something that is a promotion that's run on basically any currently existing LEGO store. So if you have a LEGO brand retail store around you or have a local one, that is where you can get GWPs. You can also get GWPs by making any order on lego.com online. So if you were to place an order on lego.com, that unfortunately Pick-a-Brick does not count for this, so it does have to be from the official sets, then you're able to qualify for a GWP if you hit over the limit. Now, specifically for this particular set, this qualifies for all themes. There was a leaked document that came out, I believe around like December, that stated that it only is applicable to a few themes. I'm incredibly happy to report that that is not true. That may have been true for that one particular, maybe certified store that was doing it in a particular region, but basically worldwide, anywhere that sells LEGO for a LEGO store or lego.com, you can buy any set from any theme and let it qualify towards this free gift. Now, in order to get it, you need to spend over $100. If you spend $99.99, unfortunately, you will not qualify, but you could probably just throw in a keychain on there or something like that. It's probably only a couple of dollars, so basically it's $100 to get this. But now, let me just go into some of the suggestions I have, because I know that for a lot of Bionicle fans, you might not have touched LEGO System or might not even be interested in LEGO System building bricks, and you only were interested in the original Bionicle construction toys. And that's totally fair. But if you want to support this, there are a couple ways you can do so. First of all, there is Bricklink.com. Bricklink, if you aren't aware, is the online LEGO marketplace for secondhand and used LEGO. It is a lot more reliable than sites like eBay, and it's basically the best place to buy secondhand LEGO that currently exists. They have every minifigure, every piece, and of course, every set. Now, looking at the past, we've gotten a few nostalgic GWPs in the past few months. The most pertinent example here is actually a LEGO Castle GWP. Going into here, I can actually grab it. It's the Forest Hideout. So if we grab the Forest Hideout here, this was a GWP that you could get on August 1st, 2021. It opens up and it actually is a direct remake of a classic LEGO Forest Men Castle set, making it probably the most comparable to something like this. Now, when the Forest Men Hideout set first released, it was really hard to get because a lot of people were getting it. It's very, very popular, and the price was around $40 US. Nowadays, though, the price has pretty much gone down to around $25 to $30, so if you're willing to wait a few months, it's again been like 4 or 5 months since that first came out, you can very easily get this on Bricklink for a very low price. Honestly, if I had to guess, probably around $20 to $25, especially because there's going to be a lot of standard system fans who will get this for free and just not have anything to do with it because they're not fans of Bionicle, so they'll go ahead and sell it on Bricklink. So I can imagine the market is going to get flooded with these around the February to March timeframe. However, if you do want to support it directly, now one thing is that Bricklink is owned by LEGO. They can see the sales data from Bricklink, so if you do get this on Bricklink, you are showing to LEGO that this is supporting Bionicle in this form in 2023. But if you want to specifically be able to get this from LEGO itself, there are a few suggestions I have on sets that maybe LEGO Bionicle fans might actually really appreciate, but maybe just aren't aware of, and hopefully that will be helpful to you. So right now for this part of the video, I'm going to go through a couple of suggestions, going through some of the newest sets and some older sets as well that might be good to qualify for fans of Bionicle and construction action figures to be able to buy for these. Some of these are mechs from the Ninjago line that are very similar to the LEGO Exoforce line. If you were a fan of Bionicle, you were probably also, or maybe also, a fan of Exoforce, and there's a lot of new Ninjago mechs that are actually specifically very similar to Exoforce, but with a lot more radical and modern building techniques. If you want something that is more contemporary in terms of a construction figure, LEGO Marvel has actually been putting out some Spider-Man figures. So you can see that you've got Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Venom here. These are priced really well at $25, and they act kind of like modern day construction stuff. So these are really great recommendations for folks who are interested in getting just another construction figure. And of course, if you're a Bionicle fan, you can very easily use those system pieces to create your own things. Unfortunately, while the G1 Bionicle system as well as CCBS has been long discontinued, LEGO has actually destroyed the molds for the older sets because it actually costs them more to keep molds rather than to destroy them and bring them back in the future and make them again. So there's no actual CCBS or legitimate construction, I guess, from the older times currently available. There is still a lot of really amazing stuff that you can check out at the LEGO store, and a lot of great Technic stuff too, some of which are just great parts packs for folks who just want to make their own Bionicle custom box, work with the pieces they have, and just use a Technic set as a parts pack.
Oh man, so I've been dying to talk about this for months now, and it's finally here. Set number 40581, Tahu and Takua, a gift with purchase, or GWP, and this has been such a crazy timeline of events. So before we get into everything, I figure it would make sense to talk a little bit about the timeline and clarify a lot of confusion surrounding the GWP, at least in places I can. So in July of 2022, a mysterious user posted on Twitter an image of a leaked document which showcased a very blurry image of this Bionicle GWP only in a reply to LJ of TTV and didn't post it anywhere else. So most people, including myself, ran it off as fake, and I believe LJ and the folks over at TTV also wrote it off as fake at that time for a number of reasons. Because for one, GWPs never leak that early, not that many months in advance, and they certainly never really leak in the form of documents. I can't remember the last time a GWP leaked in a document, or any set for that matter. From there, October 3rd, 2022, specifically that date, reliable leakers stated that a Bionicle GWP is in fact coming, notably with set number 40580, which is actually the Blacktron GWP. At the same time, rumors of the Blacktron GWP also pop up from the same reliable leakers with the set number 40581, so essentially these set numbers were swapped. So by mid-October 2022, at this point, the Bionicle GWP was all but confirmed. I still thought the leaked image was fake, and so did most of the community. More images of the GWP begin to leak, all of which are pretty much believed to be fake because, again, GWPs and LEGO sets in general never leak in that fashion, never like internal documents. So by late October, I believe early November 2022, right around when I joined the LEGO Ambassador Network, I got an email from the Ambassador Network saying to expect a new set coming my way, set number 40581, a January GWP under the theme quote-unquote nostalgia. So given that all the reliable leakers were saying 40581 was Blacktron, I assumed it was the Blacktron set. In the following days, I get subsequent emails from LAN saying that the launch reveal and review dates are wrong and they actually should be different. They clarified that the reveal of the set should have been on Saturday, January 14th, which did not happen, but I was ready to go if it happened, and the review date was today, 16th, which is kind of weird because now the review has been published before the reveal, and this is, I guess, my reveal video now, because for whatever reason, it just didn't go live on the 14th. So late November 2022 or early December, I believe, a package was sent to my house. I left on vacation shortly afterwards, and it arrives the day after I leave. So the entire time I assumed it was the Blacktron set, and I just couldn't open it. I mean, I just wasn't home to open it. Around also this time, a leaked store document from some certified LEGO store out there showcased the Bionicle set in full. Notably, it stated that in order to get it, you must spend $100 of specific non-licensed themes. There was a list of 6 themes. Now, a lot of folks in the Bionicle community just basically took this as fact. There was no reason not to. It was from an official-looking leaked document, and while I do believe that was true for that one particular store, everything the LAN has told me points to the otherwise. It says specifically, the document that I was given internally says it is $100 for any theme, no restrictions. Again, that is what I have been told. That is the document that I have been given. Now, could this information be wrong? Yes, I mean, the LAN has been wrong before. Clearly, they were wrong when they told me that it would be revealed on the 14th, because it still hasn't been revealed yet, other than by fan media. As an aside, I kind of find it funny how, like Bionicle G2, fans are basically, the burden is on fans to promote it itself, because LEGO isn't doing any promotions or any sort of reveal on their own. But as far as I know, and as far as the LEGO Ambassador Network has told me, there are no theme restrictions, which means that no matter what you buy, you should be able to get this set. Now, this could change, and no one will really know for sure up until the day that it actually goes live, which is the 27th, because LEGO doesn't really release that information ahead of time generally to the public. The internal document I've gotten, again, says there are no restrictions, but they've been wrong before. But as far as I can tell, I'm going to operate by what the LEGO Ambassador Network has told me. I know that there are a lot of other LAN members and content creators who operate by the leaked document to play it safe, and I definitely respect that. I understand it, but you know, I'm going to operate based on optimism and based on the actual facts that the LAN has sent me via email. So, by late December 2022, I went home. I was shocked to see the Bionicle GWP. I would have filmed a reveal, like, unboxing video if I had known it was the Bionicle one. And LAN also clarifies that, yes, the reveal date is January 14th, and the date that we can publish reviews is January 16th at 6 a.m. Pacific time. No time zone was given for the reveal date. Later on in January, they hosted a designer interview session, and I'll have a full video out on that later on this week, where they showcased some prototypes for it, some alternate concepts for the GWP, and a lot of really cool information, so stay tuned for that. And after that session, I personally confirmed that the reveal was still on for the 14th, and the review was the 16th. I asked to clarify the time zone, but I was just told to publish the reveal video when assets go live on LEGO.com on the 14th. So on January 14th, I did not want to miss such a momentous event, so I set alarms every hour of the night to check LEGO.com to see when I could publish my reveal video. I got literally no sleep. I spent the entire day refreshing every hour, and nothing changed. At midnight EST on the 15th, 2 other GWPs for January went live, the Houses of the World and the Year of the Rabbit. There was no sign of Bionicle, so my reveal wasn't published. On midnight January 15th, I had a pre-recorded review of Sakota's Legend of the Bionicle set go live, which was supposed to be after the GWP was revealed. In that video, I showed the GWP, but thanks to folks on Discord who pointed it out, I removed the video within 15 minutes of it being published. No images leak, although since it was past the reveal date that the LAN told me to reveal the set, I would have had a very good argument if I got in trouble for it. On the evening of January 15th, other fan media began teasing imminent reviews of the GWP despite it not being public on LEGO.com. Much like Bionicle G2, LEGO has left it up to existing older fans to market Bionicle for them. Although this time it seems like a genuine accident and somebody messed up somewhere. So that brings us to now. It is January 16th, my review of the set is up. This is the reveal video, which I have now modified to include this information and some other information, which is kind of silly how the review came before the reveal, but you know, whatever. If the assets aren't up on LEGO.com by later today, this video is just going to go live because I just can't wait for LEGO to publish it. And we just had no visibility into what was going on. No LAN folks really work on weekends, so we just didn't get any messages. Personally, I just find it really funny that LEGO has managed to get the dates mixed up and just get a lot of things wrong about another major Bionicle reveal again. You can't make this up. I mean, it didn't happen to any other GWP, but of course, it had to happen to the Bionicle one. I just find it kind of funny. No harm, no foul. It seems like somebody just messed up somewhere and maybe got the reveal date confused, but I just find that very, very funny how fans have basically just been told to reveal and review it ourselves without any sort of official reveal from LEGO. Okay, so this right here is set number 40581, Bionicle, Tahu, and Takua. It is a brand new set that releases this year in 2023. I can barely believe that I'm saying it myself, but yes, we are getting a new Bionicle set in 2023. And here's how you get the set. This is a GWP or gift with purchase. It essentially means that if you spend a certain amount of money on LEGO, you will be able to acquire this set for free. Now, specifically, the threshold for the set is $100 US. It's actually kind of nice because this is probably one of the cheapest GWP thresholds we've gotten in a while. A lot of times in recent history, a lot of the gift with purchase sets have been linked to much higher gift with purchase thresholds, such as a Blacktron Cruiser for $190, a Houses of the World set later this month for $250. This is actually one of the cheapest GWPs we've gotten in a long time. And after speaking to the designer, we actually learned that it was actually a very conscious attempt to try to keep the size and cost of this as low as possible to make it more accessible for everyone. You can get the set by spending $100, 100 euros, or 90 British pounds on LEGO.com or in LEGO stores starting on January 27th, 2023, so in a few weeks, basically at the end of January, you will be able to get this, going all the way through February 9th. So you do have actually a pretty good time window to be able to get this. It is a fairly standard lifespan for a GWP, and one thing that may be confusing initially that I do want to address is that on shop.lego.com, when this actually goes live, there will be a product page that likely will showcase a price tag on it. Unfortunately, that does not mean that you can buy this separately, because you cannot. The only way to obtain this is as a gift with purchase. The price tag on the Shop at Home page is really just to show a suggested price in terms of the value of this build. For instance, the Blacktron ship, you can actually see that on shop.lego.com. It has a $30 price tag, but it's not available for sale because, again, that was a gift with purchase. So it will probably have a price tag on LEGO.com, but unfortunately, you do have to spend past that threshold, $100, 100 euros, or 90 British pounds in order to get this for free. But here's the thing. $100 is a lot of money to spend on LEGO, and understandably, maybe many folks will be interested in getting this who are really into Bionicle, who loved Bionicle back in the day, but maybe haven't really touched LEGO in a while, and this video is for you, because I have a number of suggestions of great sets that you can find on LEGO.com right now that are currently available that you could probably use towards this gift with purchase set. Now, this works with any sort of standard LEGO purchase as well as Pick-a-Brick, which is a new thing. Previously, Bricks and Pieces was a little bit hit or miss. That was their older parts ordering service in terms of being able to get gift with purchases with them, but thankfully it does work for Pick-a-Brick, so if you do want to get specific parts, you do have the ability to do that. And I think without further ado, we probably should just jump right into my suggestions on great LEGO sets to get with this model. Now, don't worry, because my review of the model is actually coming very soon. The embargo date is in a few days, so I can't quite publish it yet, but don't worry, it will be coming very, very soon, and there will be a bit of a celebration of LEGO System Bionicle stuff this week, where I'll be reviewing this, talking with some other community members about the GWP, because I've been dying to talk about this for a while. I got this so long ago, and just haven't been allowed to talk about it, so I'm so happy to be able to finally make a video on this, and of course, we'll have the review coming out soon, some exciting conversations, and even some alternate looks at proposals for the Bionicle GWP that were sent to us in image format that kind of shows a what could have been in terms of the development process behind this. So stay tuned, because pretty much every video for the next few days will be centered directly on everything to do with System Bionicle. And without further ado, I think it's time we jump into LEGO.com and take a look at what you can actually get for $100 that I personally think is worth getting, and a good LEGO set for fans of Construction, fans of Exoforce maybe, and of course, fans of Bionicle. Let's go. On one final note before we get started here, I want to showcase this very useful graph made by Jay's Brick blog. I have posted the link to his article in the description below, showcasing how the price of gift with purchase sets has gone up. Now, I do want to actually make a note of this in this video, because I know that there was a lot of backlash about how you have to spend $100 worth of LEGO to get the Bionicle GWP, and how that's so expensive. Well, the thing is, after actually getting a chance to interview the designers behind the model, all they were told by LEGO was to simply make a Bionicle GWP. They were not told a price point or any sort of guidelines around that, and what they did was they specifically tried to make it such that it would be as cheap as possible, which is something I really respect, and I really do appreciate the effort that went into actually making it incredibly cheap so folks can be able to get it. Sure, $100 is definitely still high, and I would not ever fault anyone for not wanting to spend $100 on LEGO that they just simply do not want. I just want to point out that if fans are angry that this is super expensive and out of the realm of reasonability, if you do look at GWPs, that's kind of just how they are. Let's count the GWPs that are under $100 over the last year, 2022 and 2023. Again, this image comes from Jay's Brick Blog. So there was one in January that was under 100, which was good but pretty small. One in April, barely under 100. One April 2nd, so there are 3 so far. There's another one September, so 4. And then finally one other one, a small kind of Year of the Rabbit gift just a couple of days ago, 5. So 5 GWPs out of several, I mean, you can see how many there are on this image, that were actually below the $100 threshold, and many of them are even higher. I mean, we've got a couple that are at $250, we've got a lot that are at $200, a ton of them that are above the $150 line. And that's kind of how it is. I mean, the Tahu GWP at $100 is among the cheapest GWPs, especially for the value. One other thing to note is that GWPs rarely ever get exclusive prints, they never will get exclusive molds, and this set has not one, but 2 exclusive prints. They couldn't even do that for the Blacktron set. They actually stated they could not print the Blacktron emblems on the Blacktron set, and that was at $190. So for $100, to get a GWP that defies norms and gives us new prints, I mean, it's rare to even get stickers, but new prints in a GWP is pretty much unheard of, and to get 2 of them is really special. So I really do feel that the threshold is very fair for what you get, at least compared to other other standard LEGO GWPs that you can see mapped out on the board here. Yeah, the trend line is they are getting more expensive, and LEGO is an expensive hobby, and it is kind of how GWPs are, unfortunately. And yeah, this graph really just shows that.
Alright, so by the time this video goes live, you should be able to see the Bionicle Tahu set on shop.lego.com or lego.com/NUS, basically any one of the configurations of lego.com, where you can see that it actually has a price associated with it, but unfortunately that does not mean it is available for purchase because it is a gift with purchase. An example of this would be the Retro Space gift, specifically the LEGO Blacktron set, where right now, you can get a Blacktron Cruiser with purchases over $190 between now and the 14th, which is basically now, so today was the final day. This is a very similar case where if you spend $100 on LEGO, you will be able to get the Bionicle Tahu and Takua 2023 gift with purchase. Now, I know there were a couple of leaked documents that were circulating at least a couple of months ago, and this actually leaked a while ago, and a lot of those leaked documents were saying something along the lines that you needed to spend it on only specific themes, namely a list of specific themes that I believe were Ninjago, Monkey Kid, and Dots and whatnot, but notably did not include Technic or any other licensed style theme. I am happy to report that as of right now, at least, the information that I've been given through the LEGO Ambassador Network is that, and they did say it could change, but it hasn't in the past, is that this will not be exclusive to any one particular theme. That means that if you want to get any certain set for qualifying towards the GWP, you can go ahead and do that, which is fantastic, because that is a really good thing. I definitely think that LEGO should not be kind of limiting this to any particular theme, and that's what this is all about. So throughout the course of this video, I kind of just want to talk through some of my suggestions on sets that Bionicle fans may like. If you are a Bionicle fan who hasn't gotten into system in a while, then maybe there are some great sets for you to take a look at. What's also really great is that LEGO's Pick-a-Brick site, and that is basically a site that's similar to Bricks and Pieces, they kind of revamped it very recently, also does qualify for the GWP. I know there were a couple questions about that, but recently LEGO has actually changed it such that these do qualify for the gift with purchase, which is fantastic. So
if you do want to just get parts orders, you can absolutely go through this service. Obviously, the prices for some items are a little bit more expensive than Bricklink, but what's really great is that you actually can take a look at all sorts of different pieces sorted by category. So let's say, for example, you only want to see Technic stuff. You can search and select the Technic beams. Let me go to subcategories, and this is where you can get really granular about it. So let's say, for example, you're a pure Bionicle builder, you just want to pick up standard Technic pieces. This Pick-a-Brick service is a really great way to do that. And what's really cool is they actually have a lot of really specialized pieces, like this transparent pink Technic beam, which is super special. That was exclusive to a Ninjago set. And yeah, you can really just see all the different categories of parts they have available if you just want to buy pieces for, say, your own mocks or your own unique things. So going through the listing here, I'm going to start off with some of the more unique stuff that you can find here, because I feel like there's at least a few things here that are relevant to Bionicle fans, like the Technic cams in different colors. You've got light gray and dark gray, which is nice to see. You've also got a lot of these very useful kind of smaller pieces here, the kind of 1x2 Technic beams, which are very useful to have in general. And overall, there's a great selection of all sorts of different pieces, and these are just for beams. Now, looking at some other stuff here, the categorization of the different pieces is a little bit confusing. It's kind of annoying because there's not a lot of very obvious ways to find things, but obviously you've got a modified Technic beam section with a lot of just useful stuff for Bionicle builds in general, and I encourage you to just kind of go around the site and look around it and just see what stands out to you. And there's a lot of great stuff here if you're building your own custom stuff. Let me see, for example, there is part number 41669, I believe, is... oh, maybe not. Let's see exactly what the part number is. The annoying thing is that sometimes they use different numbers here than what Bricklink uses, so you kind of have to just try different things. But there's one part that I'm looking for in particular, which is the Borok Eye, and that is something that was recently released in Ninjago. Here we go. Recently released in Ninjago sets in Pearl Gold after not appearing in that color for years since the Brutaka set, so if you do want to get those, they have a ton of different colors. You've got like pink and all sorts of stuff. They are releasing dark blue, but that isn't until March, unfortunately, so that will not be able to qualify for the GWP. But as you can see, there's a good selection of pieces here, and you can very easily, trust me, it might look like there's only a couple cents per piece, but it is very easy to rack up a very high price tag on Pick-a-Brick, because again, the pieces are like over 10 cents per piece. Some of them are pretty expensive. Honestly, some of them are kind of overpriced, so I definitely would double check with Bricklink first and see which ones that you want to get and which ones make sense for you to get here versus Bricklink, because there are some that absolutely are cheaper than Bricklink. You just kind of have to do some comparisons. But enough with the parts. Let's take a look at what's available for specific sets. Now, for here, there are a number of sets that I feel like are good offerings for fans of construction, of buildable figures, or even just Technic stuff in general, and we're going to start with some of that stuff. So first of all, if you are a fan of Bionicle, maybe you're a fan of Exoforce as well, there are a lot of really fantastic LEGO Ninjago and Monkie Kid mechs that you can take a look at. I think my favorite here that just released this year is Jay's Titan mech. It retails for $80 US, which maybe is a little bit on the steep side for what you get, but I definitely do think this is one of the best mechs in Ninjago history. Yes, it does have knees. As you can see, it does have working knees with the standard ball joint system. It has these newer style of competition cannons that launch out, and this honestly feels like what LEGO would do as an Exoforce set in modern days. I have done a full review on this, which you can check out on my channel, so if you do want to see this up close and personal, I've done a full review. It is a rather large mech and is a really unique design. It's got a very unique body shape, and for $80, that really gets you well along the way to the $100 price checkpoint. Now, one final thing I do want to note here regarding that price, the $100 is, unfortunately, it has to be over $100. So another example here of a great set is Zane's Ice Dragon Creature. For $99.99, this unfortunately will not net you the gift with purchase. This isn't a new thing that LEGO's doing. Ever since LEGO were doing gift with purchases back in like years and years ago, they absolutely had to have it above the price point. So $99.99 unfortunately will not get to it. But then again, you can just get like a piece from Pick-a-Brick, and it does cost like $5 to ship it if you don't actually spend more than like $20 or something like that. But I mean, you could very easily just get a few things from Pick-a-Brick to just kind of get it over the limit. You also can get a keychain for like $4 to $5, so there are options there to really just get you above the limit. Now, the reason I mentioned Zane's Ice Dragon creature is that this I feel like is interesting to Bionicle fans for a number of reasons. First of all, they have molded these sockets in pearl gold for the first time, which I'm sure will be very useful. Now, these will appear on Pick-a-Brick in a matter of months. Again, it will not be in time for the Bionicle GWP for sure. If I had to guess, they'll probably appear around the April to May timeframe, because it takes now around like 4 to 5 months for new pieces to be added. But what's really cool about this is that you can actually rebuild it into a mech-like bipedal walking creature. This is kind of like a Bionicle, so I mean, you do have that, and it's kind of a cool thing because this is just a really useful parts pack. If you've been out of the LEGO scene for a while, there are lots of new joints that they've introduced to make it easier to build large-scale figures. You can kind of see it right here. It's similar to the older style of ratchet joints, but in a lot more compact of a form, which is really nice to see. And you just get a lot of really great pieces for joints with the 6 legs here. There's lots of cool joints if you want to use it for your own mocks. And overall, it's a really good dragon in general. But maybe if you're not too into dragons, then that's not really your thing. There are smaller mechs, which are Evo style of mechs. They do not have articulatable joints, but it's a cool parts pack if you wanted to get one of the newer sets there. Now, moving onwards, I think, in my opinion, Zane's Titan Mech Battle, and I'm surprised this is still available for sale, for $65, I think this is the best Ninjago mech they have ever done. And that's for a number of reasons. I will be putting out a best Ninjago mechs video coming up pretty soon, and spoiler alert, this one is at or near the top. And what's really great about this one is that obviously it has knees. So the knee function here is something that is really unique. I honestly was so shocked at how good it is in terms of the knee articulation. I've never seen a knee function like that before. It's using like a system of 4 to 8 different mixel joints inside of it. It's really cool. I mean, you can kind of see it around here, and again, I will be putting out a full video on this, but it's a really cool system that they have for the knees. It's just a really solid set overall, and I think this is probably the best Ninjago mech they've done. For $65, this is incredibly good value. It has let's see, 840 pieces. It's a really big mech for what you get, and it is fully articulatable. So I think this is probably one of the best things that you can get as a Bionicle fan. That kind of scratches the itch for me in terms of being a really nice technical build, while also just being a solid system mech style build in general. So that's a really great recommendation. I certainly would highly recommend that. If you wanted to get a little bit more expensive, Nia's Samurai X mech is honestly just okay for me in particular. It's $120, so you do have to factor that in. Now, if you're a Bionicle fan or a Construction fan and you don't care about the minifigures, you can very easily sell the figures in this set because most of them are exclusive. Pythor has been selling for like $25 to $30 on his own. On Bricklink, same for Garmadon, $30 to $35, and same for the other characters. So you can get like most of your money back just by selling the minifigures if you don't care about them. But again, it is a fairly decent mech, although I do think that the Zane's Titan Mech Battle is a little bit better. Moving onwards, we have a couple other things here. Lloyd's Legendary Dragon is, I think, the best dragon they've done for Ninjago, like, ever, but if you're not into dragons, that's not a big deal. The Ultra Combo Mech is interesting. It's kind of like a Voltron-esque mech, where, obviously in the name, it's for $90, but what's cool is that it splits up into different mechs. So you got a Fire Mech, you've got a Lightning Jet, an Earth Driller, and an Ice, like, I don't know, snowplow or something like that. You know, you can get the gist of it, but they all combine together, and the whole point of the set is that they actually combine to form this large mech, which is a really cool concept. Maybe it isn't for everyone. Obviously, to support a function like this, it doesn't have knees. It's very stiff, I will say, but hey, it's a really cool function, so that is another Construction-like build. Moving onwards, you've got some smaller $10 mechs if you do want to kind of supplement some of the other builds here, but for the most part, I think those are the big ones that you can get from Ninjago, with most of the other good stuff being fully retired. So it's cool that the Titan mech for ice-themed Zane stuff is still available. I think that's just such a good set. Moving onwards to some other stuff, we have LEGO Monkie Kid. So Monkie Kid is a retelling of Journey to the West, which is a really fantastic theme. Some of the best original sets that I think LEGO has ever put out. Now, there are a couple complaints that a lot of Monkie Kid sets are a little bit overpriced, which arguably, maybe they are, but I definitely think that they've done a lot better job at making these a lot more affordable and fair for modern LEGO fans. The Combi Mech is a mech that has knees and is probably the perfect $20 mech. I cannot recommend this more, and I do have a full review on most of the stuff I'm talking about here. The Ultra Mech for $160, I'm gonna be honest, is a little overpriced. If you want to have a lot of gold pieces to supplement your collection and build a really nice, I mean, it's a really good build. I just think it's a little bit expensive for what it is. It is a good style of mech. Now, going onwards, the Evil Macaque's mech is honestly just average. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Ah, man, unfortunately, the Monkey King Warrior mech, which was on sale, is now out of stock because this was around for so many years, and it was probably the best mech that you could have gotten, especially at the price. But maybe if you can find it at a physical store, but I know most physical stores aren't really selling them anymore, you could get lucky at a Discovery Center or something like that. Now, most of the other Monkey Kid sets are sold out, so there is a pretty limited selection of just the newest sets. A lot of these are really good location builds, like these are some of the best location builds that you can ever see, but again, if you're not really into that, then that's fair enough. Looking at what LEGO Technic has to offer, because I know a lot of fans of Bionicle will obviously have their eye on Technic and be curious to see what exactly Technic offerings have improved over the years. So, obviously, you've got some really expensive stuff that are really fantastic, but if that's outside your price range, that is totally understandable. We have some smaller offerings as well, which are still pretty good. Now, one of the cool ones here is the app-controlled transformation vehicle. This one can drive around. I actually just recently built it. It's a really fun set. For $150, it definitely is very expensive for the size of vehicle you get, but the idea behind the app-controlled transformation vehicle is that, well, it transforms. You can either flip it on the blue side or the orange side, and one of those flips up and down depending on like how you drive it up the wall. It's actually really satisfying to have this go driving up the side of a wall and flip over and kind of go over and down there. You can see it, the picture of it illustrated here to the different color, so I think that's a really fun one, albeit maybe a little bit overpriced. These smaller Monster Jam trucks for $20 are pullback motors, and they're just a lot of fun and great parts packs in general. I really wish the Ford GT was available for this Bionicle GWP because, as you can see, it's a great source of dark blue Technic pieces. We've got dark blue Borak eyes for the first time right there, all sorts of really great panels, but unfortunately that one's not available yet, so I'll stop talking about that and just have to wait and see for that to become available. And there's a lot of really good smaller sets as well. The Technic range tends to kind of fluctuate between really small sets and really big sets, but for the most part you can see a lot of them right here, and yeah, there's a lot of great parts packs here, and I think that there's a lot of fun sets to be had in general. One of my favorites is the Monster Jam Megalodon. For $20, this was on my list of some of the best sets of 2022. If you are kind of recently getting back into LEGO, they have done the stud to Technic pin connector with friction, and that doesn't just exist in red, it also exists in dark gray. You can get those off of Pick-a-Brick. If you do want those pieces, you can find them, but this is a great parts pack if you want it, and they've also recolored the Bionicle Mystica fin in this kind of lighter blue color, which is wonderful to see. And overall, lots of good offerings from Technic, which I'm sure a lot of Bionicle fans will be taking a look at. Now, honestly, that kind of sums up a lot of the ideas that I have for folks who are into LEGO and into Bionicle, but maybe not into LEGO System, who want to pick up something that is related to System. Of course, you have a lot of fantastic sets from other themes. Icons is kind of their 18+ line with some of the best sets ever. Like, these are some of the coolest sets that you can ever get in terms of just really great builds. But of course, if this is not really your thing, if you really only want to collect LEGO for Bionicle or Construction and really don't want to get other stuff, then that's totally understandable. But this is just kind of something that I wanted to put out there in case folks are interested and just kind of want to see. The dried flower and wildflower bouquet are so wonderful. I'm actually going to pre-order those right now. I did not realize they were available for pre-order, so let me add them to my cart. Thankfully, that will qualify me for the Bionicle GWP when that actually starts, so that is fantastic. And overall, there's a lot of great sets in the Icons lineup, just really cool, realistic stuff. The NASA Space Shuttle Discovery, if you're into that sort of thing, is just phenomenal. This is probably one of the best space shuttle builds they've ever done and will ever do. Every silver piece here is also drum lacquered, so that is very cool. And one final thing I will say, LEGO Friends, hear me out. LEGO Friends, I think, is probably one of the best themes that they have going on right now, and is easily blows City out of the water. Just look at the quality of some of these sets, like the Downtown Flower and Design Stores. That is a phenomenal city street build. Maybe this isn't your thing if you're a Bionicle fan and really aren't interested in realistic house-style stuff, but if this is up your alley, I mean, just check out Friends. Don't ignore it, because you have some of the best sets ever, and these are so cool. Hey, and there's a Bionicle reference in this one for $20, Nova's Room. Funny how this one in particular is backordered. Maybe a lot of Bionicle fans are buying it up, but there is actually a reference to one of the fan-created games on the screen here. I kind of wish I lived in Heart Lake City, where clearly it is popular enough that people are streaming playing the Bionicle fan games where they have actually been fully released. But what you can see here is, yeah, That's Tahu and Kopaka there on the laptop. You've got a laptop for it. You've got a monitor. You've also got like what probably is supposed to be Kopaka up on the shelf there. So for $20, this is a really nice little friend set of someone's room that actually does feature some references and nods to Bionicle.
So definitely one great set to get would be Optimus Prime. Sure, it's a lot more than $100, but based on the information I've been given, you should be able to get the Bionicle GWP by getting this. So if you're a Transformers fan and also a Bionicle fan, this is pretty much the perfect set. It is really crazy that LEGO was able to actually do a partnership with one of their main competitors and produce the Optimus Prime set. It's one of the best sets in recent history. I really love it. The transformation feature is so cool, and yeah, you should be able to get the Bionicle GWP with the set if the information the LAN has given me is correct. Other sets also include other stuff from Icons. I mean, Icons has been spitting out a lot of fantastic models, and if you just look at it, Icons basically, for those who aren't really into LEGO, are basically the category of sets that they use to denote that are made towards adults or adult-oriented builds. Like the Loop Coaster is so good, it's such a good build. Lion Knight's Castle if you're into older stuff. I don't know if I mentioned the Galaxy Explorer already, but if I did not, this is probably the best set of 2022. It was the #1 best set on my LEGO Awards series for that year. Just so good, and you can rebuild it into the other models. Of course, the modular buildings are fantastic. Icons is just a really good place to get started if you want to actually get some really fantastic LEGO models and just get the best of the best. I mean, these are some of the best builds that LEGO has available are in Icons, and I definitely would highly recommend that.
Overall, though, I think there are a lot of great sets to get for this particular gift with purchase. And again, if you really don't want to buy anything new from LEGO, there is always Bricklink. Now, I will say that you probably will have to wait a couple of months at least in order to be able to get the set off of Bricklink at a fair price. If you take a look at the previous nostalgic-based GWP, which was the Forest Hideout in August of 2022, obviously it's been many months since that has come out, and this is kind of circling around the $25 to $35 price range, which I would imagine this is probably the price the Bionicle GWP is going to be selling at. Now, there's going to be a lot of LEGO fans out there who are going to be buying LEGO in general and do not care in the slightest about Bionicle, so I would imagine that a lot of them are going to end up here. You can take a look at the Blacktron Cruiser here, but literally this is still available, so I mean, the price is already going down a little bit. I remember when this was selling for $50 just a couple of days ago, so I would imagine that by the end of the month, or maybe in a couple of months, this will also be circling around the $25 to $35 price point. So again, if you don't want to spend $100 on system LEGO sets, there is always Bricklink. It is kind of the official secondhand market for LEGO, and it's a great way to be able to get gift with purchase sets. So I definitely would recommend checking that out because it is a really great way to do that. With that, though, I think we've summed up pretty much a lot of my suggestions on great sets that you can get to qualify for this GWP. There's a lot of good stuff on LEGO.com nowadays, and you do have to wait a couple of days for my full review of the actual Bionicle GWP. Don't worry, that is coming. I cannot post that review until a few days later. We are embargoed for the review, but I am allowed to post kind of details about the Bionicle set in general, so stay tuned for my full thoughts on the set when I can actually give my full review. But as of right now, I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I'm very curious for folks in the comments. Let me know what you are buying to qualify for this model.
Alright, and with that, we have summed up exactly how you can be able to go ahead and get this Bionicle set number 40581, Bionicle Tahu and Takua, in system form for the first time in 2023. It has been many years since we've gotten anything related to LEGO Bionicle, and it is just so exciting being able to get literally a LEGO Bionicle product on the shelves. I understand that they weren't able to make a brand new canister or anything like it for it, but I really do appreciate how the box art is meant to evoke the Rocky boxes from 2001 of Bionicle. You've kind of got this bluish curve to it that really is emblematic of the original box art design, so everything about this is just very authentic to what you would have gotten from LEGO Bionicle back in the day, which is just so cool to see in terms of the box art. And this is a very fun set to put together and play around with, featuring some really excellent detail, printed pieces for the masks there, all sorts of fun designs. And so do stay tuned for the review, because I will be publishing a review very soon. If not already, I will link it in the description below as soon as it's ready. So if you want to dive in depth into Tahu and Takua, do go check out my review. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and be sure to like and subscribe for even more more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks, and bye for now.